Hello, everyone. Welcome to 88 Tuition. My name is Mr. Joel, and I'll be your teacher for tonight. Welcome back to the regulars, Zixuan, Enlak, Galvin, and Jia Ying. So today we have a few trial students with us, Sarah Bell and Singru. So welcome to the class. I'm supposed to have a few more students coming in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, around 4 more or so. But if they're not here on time, then we'll start without them because they're late. So, all right. So before the class, so just letting everyone know, there's some preparation work to do before each class. So in 88 Tuition on the website, right, you should go to learn and attempt the lesson that is supposed to be taught that day. For today, it's lesson 31, right? And then you answer the questions within, and all your answers will be sent to me if you've answered them. Okay, so so far for today's lesson, I have received the answers from Galvin, Kirana, and Yashwin, right? I haven't received it from the rest. So that would mean that it's actually only the 3 of you who actually gave me anything for the learning part. So it's good and it's important to do the pre-lesson materials because it gives you a good idea about what I'm going to teach today, and then it helps you to come up with some questions that you can ask during the lesson. So I highly encourage everyone to finish the learning before you come for class. Okay. If someone coming in, I'm not sure who that is because I don't have a student called Zai. I'll just see who that is. Anyway, for the class, it is compulsory to turn on your video. It's compulsory to turn on your video, and please leave your microphone muted. If you have a question, you can always raise your hand on Zoom. And when you do, I'll call you and then you respond. Okay. Welcome back, Varun. And okay, Singru is there. Okay, can I just check your name is Zaiiii. May I know what's your name? So it's for attendance sake.
It's Zainab.
Oh, Zainab. Okay. Because I was like, who is Zai? Okay. Present. All right. Singru is here. Singru, you are not a regular student, right? You're here for trial, right? Okay, good. Sarah Bell is here for trial as well, right? Okay. Let's begin then. Okay. So if there's anything urgent, raise your hand as usual. Wait for my permission, and then you can unmute yourself before speaking. If you need to go to the toilet, just inform me using the chat group. You don't need to raise your hand or unmute yourself, whatever. I'll just tell you that you can go, and then you can go. All right. So in this class, be mindful to be respectful to all students and teachers, right? And so we can have a nice, smooth session together. So what are we covering for today? We are covering 2 things, narrative comprehension and current affairs. So for your narrative comprehension, it's actually your paper 2. And normally it will be in your section B. Section A would be your poster, and then like a short blurb after that, and then you answer questions about your poster. That will be your visual stimulus comprehension. Section B is normally the narrative one, and then section C is the factual comprehension, which means they share with you like real life stuff. And normally the summary will be in section C. So your section B, it's mostly answering open-ended questions. Okay. And then later on, we'll be talking about current affairs and we'll be having a discussion about that. This will be very useful for your oral and it will be very useful for your example giving as well when you're writing a composition, if you're giving like a solid real world example. Okay. So that's what we're doing today. So the specific focus for today is inferential questions, right? I believe you've encountered these questions before quite a bit in your PSLE. So what's an inferential question? Um, it's a question where you can't find the answer directly, like you can't do a copy and paste thing, right? You have to think about it carefully first, and then think about it critically and come up with your answer. So you don't just copy part. You can't even copy different parts. All right. It's actually asking you to understand and explain what certain ideas or words suggest or imply rather than just copy. So you need to look for clues in the text, right? And use them to draw some conclusions, come up with your own guesses. And of course, when they say read between the lines, that means do consider, all right, things like the situation that the character says something, under which a character says something, right? Consider the situation, consider the personalities of your characters in the story. Okay, so the situation and the character's personalities are very, very important. So let's say, for example, you know that one of your character is maybe a very sarcastic person. So that character, right? In a situation that is not beneficial to the character might use sarcasm to express himself or herself, right? And if the character is being sarcastic, it means that he or she doesn't really mean what he or she is saying. He or she might mean the opposite. So, give you an example. Maybe Zainab is my good friend. Maybe Zainab is my enemy in class, right? And then Zainab comes in one day, right? And then she has like a new hairstyle, but I don't like her. So I will say something like, "Oh, Zainab, you cut your hair. It's so beautiful." Right? But obviously I don't mean beautiful. You know what I mean? Because it's sarcasm. And then maybe previously in the story, you already know, oh, the Mr. Joel character is very sarcastic. So he probably means something else, that kind of thing. So when we say read between the lines, it means don't just take things on the surface of it and just believe everything that the story tells you. There are actually many, whoops, I think I'm actually, am I laggy? Am I laggy? Testing, testing. Okay, I'm moving again. So there are actually many different situations that you have to consider as well. Okay. And when we say draw conclusions, we mean draw logical conclusions, or rather the one that's most likely true. Right? So let's say one day you are at a shopping center and then, it's raining outside and you see someone coming in soaked from head to toe. The logical conclusion would be, oh, this person, right, got drenched in the rain because he or she didn't take an umbrella with him or her when he or she went out, right? That's a logical conclusion. An illogical conclusion would be, oh, the man went for a swim before he came to the shopping center. Then, right, he didn't dry himself off, so he's so wet. That's illogical, right? And even sillier conclusion would be, oh, that man played water gun with his friends outside. He was having a water gun party. Wow, that's why he's so wet. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so when we say it's logical or most likely true, all right, that's what we mean, right? The one that's most likely true based on how things normally are in reality. But here's the problem, all right? A lot of PSLE and Sec 1 and Sec 2 students, they haven't had a dose of reality much yet. So they haven't had that experience. So sometimes they give me really, really weird answers. So after that, right, when they think about it, then they'll be like, oh yeah, Mr. Joel, that makes sense. Then I'll be like, yes, now you see, right, why your answer is super illogical. So as we grow, we learn, all right? But it's always good to not just study all the time and learn all the dead knowledge, right? It's good to go out as well and experience society. Maybe go out with your friends sometimes, see what's happening, why people behave the way they behave, and the different ways that people express themselves. It will be beneficial for your inferential skills, actually. All right, so that's why over here, I actually said for some texts, you actually need your own world experience and knowledge, right? And apply them to the situation of the story. Context means situation, same thing. So, inferential questions may begin with the question word why. All right, it may contain key inference words such as suggest, imply, or infer. All right. So the word suggest or imply, what does it mean? All right, it actually means that the answer is not direct. Right, it's asking you what is the author implying or what's the author suggesting and stuff like that. And immediately you know it's an inferential question. Okay, so there are many other ways that it might be phrased, requiring you to make connections between parts of the text. And there are contextual clues you should use to get the correct answer. Once again, contextual clues means the situation that the character finds himself or herself or itself in. Okay, so that's inferential questions. So when you see these words, very important. What does it suggest? What does it imply? Infer from this, all right? You know that it's definitely an inferential question. So if you copy the answer directly, you can be sure you're getting 0. All right. You need to come up with your own conclusion. So give you an example. All right. So example 1. Okay. So here's how you deal with inferential questions. All right. First, study the question words. All right. What kind of question is this in the first place? Once you know it's an inferential question, all right, look at the question stem. All right. Sometimes it's why. Why means you got to give a reason. Sometimes it's what. Sometimes it's which, that kind of thing, depending on how the question is, right? So this one we call it the question stem. A question stem can be any one of the 5 W's or 1 H. Okay. And then after that, we see the word suggest, imply, or infer. We definitely know that this is inferential, an inferential question. All right, so maybe it asks you to infer and state the meaning of X and relate it to the context for a full explanation, stuff like that. So look at this. Amy froze when her name was announced. Her teacher smiled at her assuringly and said, "You can do it, Amy." The walk to the stage seemed to be very long. As Amy took each step, her feet became heavier and heavier. She broke out in cold sweats. Now, question number 1. Why did Amy freeze when she heard her name? Can you really find the answer in these 2 paragraphs here? Does it tell you exactly why she froze when she heard her name? It doesn't, right? But you can tell from the contextual clues what's happening. She seems to be going on stage, all right? And to her, as she's walking up the stage, it seemed to be taking forever. So you can tell how she felt over here. She's probably very stage shy, all right? And later on, it described her as, her feet becoming heavier and heavier, and she even broke out in a cold sweat. So why did Amy freeze? All right, so from these, we can actually infer that she froze because, all right, she realized it was her turn. And people only freeze when they are in shock or when they are in fear. In this case, I believe it's stage fright because of the stage over there. So she realized it was her turn and she was, you can say she was unprepared or she was scared to go on stage. So we cannot find the answer directly for this, right? You can't just copy any part over here. You need to infer from these parts.